And hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to another edition of the Scumbags of Wrestling Predictions League. We are in our finals, going for the championship. There's 5 contenders going for it. I believe it's Mike, Austin, Lefty, Kieran, and Trevor, who are all in contention for that championship. That doesn't mean you still can't earn points and win a prize for your overall points of the season. It all comes down to the ending 4 events going on to decide that championship. And we're still going to be having everybody else submit their points. Now, just a reminder, it is the Predictions League where you get 10 points for a win, 5 points for a no contest, or bonus points for answering different questions, and 0 points if your selected person loses. We do WWE, NXT, AEW, and Impact Wrestling. Today, there is actually 2 events. One is the event that I'm about to talk about, and that's coming from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and that is the Elimination Chamber 2022. And then later on, you're going to be able to catch our other preview of Impact Wrestling No Surrender. It's going to be on their Impact Plus app, so it's not necessarily on pay-per-view, just like this one isn't on pay-per-view anymore. They want to call them premium live events, according to Peacock and now the WWE Network. So wherever you're watching it from, today is Elimination Chamber 2022. I'm going to break down the card and give you my perspective on what I think is going to happen today. It starts at 12 noon in the Eastern Time Zone where I am in London, Ontario. 9 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. And of course, it's probably regular evening time in Saudi Arabia when it actually happens live. Now, the other bonus part in progressive, as WWE wanted to make sure this deal with the Saudi Arabia government was, when they first started doing this 10-year deal, there was no women allowed on the cards. And eventually they started dusting it with women, and this one is packed with women being on there. There's a dozen, not including any backstage reporters or Jessica Carr reffing or anybody else doing the reffing. I know there's another female ref. I do not recall her name at the moment. I apologize to her for that. But there's at least 12 women on this card. I don't know how they're going to get away with the one just because of their laws. But hey, obviously somehow they've gotten past that. And we'll talk about this as we go along. Some of the matches you're going to see include Rey Mysterio taking on The Miz. They've been going back and forth, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, along with Miz, trading wins back and forth. This one came down to it, and after some brawling on Monday, they announced it officially that Rey Mysterio and Miz are going to go against each other, 2 former World Heavyweight Champions in their own right. Miz, a 2-time Grand Slam, whatever you want to call him in total, winner, going against Rey Mysterio, who's won pretty much everything that there is to have. Rey obviously has been doing this a lot longer. I think there's still some story to be told eventually, maybe even leading towards a father versus son match at WrestleMania 38 happening next month, or beginning of April, should I say, in Dallas, Texas. And I'm going to go with The Miz picking up a victory over Rey Mysterio. And it's going to set up some little tension between father and son Dominic could get involved, and that's where things start falling off the track with these two. They've teased it numerous times. I know Rey personally does not want to necessarily have a feud with his son, but I think it's inevitable for it to happen, and it's going to occur at WrestleMania, and this is going to start sowing those seeds. So I'm picking Miz for the victory. Now, obviously a lopsided match again with this. Last time these two met, I believe, was at day one, and it is Madcap Moss taking on the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre easily picked up the victory, but gave Madcap Moss a lot of time in their last meeting. That probably wasn't expected, but with Roman Reigns being pulled from the card with COVID, they needed to fill more time. And Moss got that time, but it probably was not necessarily expected or maybe deserved. He is very talented, but yeah, they are going to do it all over again later on today at Elimination Chamber. This time it is Falls Count Anywhere, so they can go all over the stadium in Saudi Arabia, and I think this is going to be obviously an opportunity where it's going to be 2-on-1 against Drew McIntyre, thanks to Happy Corbin being involved, but the numbers are still not going to be enough, and you're going to see Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior, picking up the victory over Madcap Moss, and maybe even embarrassing Happy Corbin as well. So that's what's going, my opinion on that one. We can go over to SmackDown and look at the tag team titles. Right now, the Usos have held those titles for a long time. They are part of the dynasty, the head of the table, the bloodline. That's the name I was thinking of at the moment, and it slipped my mind. But the bloodline, and they have been longtime SmackDown tag team champions. Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders, they need some credibility. Everybody knows what they can do. We saw what they could do on the independent circuit. We saw what they could do in Ring of Honor. They're just, unfortunately, hate to say it, bushwhackered by coming to WWE and more of a cartoon of themselves than what they should be. But I hope that I'm right on this one. I do not want to see the Usos continue as champions, but it's probably going to happen. So safe bet is to go with the Usos. My heart wants to go with the Viking Raiders just to see Eric and Ivar finally have something, and they could shake up a little stuff on the tag team scene over on SmackDown. So officially, I am going to go with Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders, just as a surprise upset victory. Now we go over to a first appearance by the women on my list here. It's a tag team match. A lot of tension happening between Naomi and Sonya DeVille. Charlotte Flair's been involved, giving up a title shot against Naomi, but Naomi came up short. Ronda Rousey won the Women's Royal Rumble last month and is set to challenge Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. Came down to a head last week on SmackDown, and all four got into it. They signed the contract last night on the pre-taped episode, but still was officially shown last night. And it was also announced that as part of that signing, that Ronda Rousey will have to have one hand tied behind her back while they wrestle, because Sonya Deville currently has her arm in a sling, thanks to the armbar from Ronda. I think that's going to be a little bit of the downfall, and they are going to end up losing. Charlotte and Sonya will stand tall in this one. That will just fuel more for Ronda wanting to get revenge on Charlotte, saying that she might have gotten beat with one hand behind her back. But at WrestleMania, there will not be that stipulation. She will have both arms available, and she will take out Charlotte Flair and get the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. So to fuel more, you need to have the heels win. Charlotte and Sonya for the victory. Now, this is where I kind of hinted at my hope that this has no issues. And they obviously, I would say, got through the red tape, because I believe I heard that it's kind of illegal or not really, obviously, looked at good upon over in Saudi Arabia to be, in Sonya's case, a lesbian. So how they look upon the LGBTQ community and how that affects their governing body. I'm just really happy that they were able to pull off whatever strings they did to get her into the country, get her into a match, and show that everybody is welcome to be in a ring in Saudi Arabia, anywhere in this world, and perform doing what they do best, or what they do as their career. Thankfully, politically, things haven't gotten in the way, it doesn't seem. So congratulations to WWE breaking down those barriers and getting Sonya Deville on the card. I guess originally being gay, lesbian, bi is kind of illegal and could actually send you to death, from what I've heard, over in Saudi. So once again, congratulations to everybody involved that made this match possible. Want to get away from the political side of things, but need to be addressed at the same time because of how much WWE has fought to get women on the card, and there's 12 on them. 6 of them are in this next match, and it's the Elimination Chamber for the number one contendership of the Raw Women's title that will be defended at WrestleMania. Whoever comes out of this will challenge the winner of the Raw Women's title match, which I'll talk about next. Currently, the 6 women that are involved is a returning Alexa Bliss, Nikki, A.S.H, almost a superhero, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, who's been chasing the title for a while, Bianca Belair, who got screwed at SummerSlam by Becky Lynch, and Rhea Ripley, who lasted over 45 minutes and came up short in a gauntlet match this past Monday, and was not going to be the last one entering. In that case, it was Bianca Belair who won, and she will enter last into the Elimination Chamber, which gives her a huge advantage. Don't know if that's going to come to fruition. Everybody wants to see the rematch of Bianca and Becky, straight up match. It's probably going to happen, but I want to actually go with Rhea Ripley because they gave her a big spotlight on this past Monday, letting her go that 45 minutes in the gauntlet, and it could go either way between those two. And I think Liv Morgan is out of the picture now. The returning Alexa Bliss is an interesting situation because she's returning. Unless they have her doing something else into WrestleMania and with one of the other 5 that are in the match, why bring her back? I thought it was going to be Asuka, for that matter, being the mystery person, but they revealed it being Alexa on Monday as well, because she's done with therapy and she's going to have her stuffed doll with her Lily, but it's the stuffing of the doll that was destroyed by Charlotte Flair, and hopefully she's cured, but she may or may not still do some of the demonic things that she was doing, the witchcraft. Who knows? We'll have to see what the current incarnation of Alexa Bliss is. You would think she should win. So this match could go so many different directions. I do not think it's going to be Bianca Belair, even though that is the obvious direction. I want to pick Rhea Ripley, and that's going to be my pick. If you're part of the Predictions League, we already know who's going to come in last. But who's going to start the match? Send me 2 names of ladies who are going to be number 1 and 2 in that match, and those are your bonus points going forward. Sorry, I had to clear my throat and I got the wrong slide up. I was going to the Raw Women's Championship, and the Raw Women's title will be on the line as Big Time Bex defends against the returning Lita. She is my age, so she's like 45, 46. Lita is. Feels that she has a second wind in her career to go. She is extreme. Doesn't seem to be stopping too much. She's been away for a while, but looked good at Royal Rumble. She looked good in promos against both Charlotte and Becky Lynch. They sort of swerved us because it looked like it was going to be Lita against Charlotte coming up, but then Ronda came and they decided to go that way. I would have gone the other way and had Charlotte and Lita continue that, and Ronda go after Becky because of the fact that Becky was the only person to have pinned Ronda Rousey for a title, and that was still in question at WrestleMania 35. But I'm not the booker. They flipped them, and we have now Lita against Becky. Becky said that there was no Lita, there would be no Becky Lynch, but because there is a Becky Lynch, there cannot be a Lita, and she's going to have to put down her idol. I think it's going to unfortunately happen. As much as I am a fan of Lita, we know that Becky Lynch is going to be walking into WrestleMania still Raw Women's Champion and going against the winner of the Elimination Chamber. And we'll end up seeing that probably on night 2 of WrestleMania is my guess, because night 1 will be headlined with Charlotte and Ronda, and so this will just complement the other match, which will be Brock against Roman in that main event. Looking over at the Raw side as well, we have the championship on the line inside the Elimination Chamber. Current champion Bobby Lashley, who just took it from Brock Lesnar thanks to Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble, will defend against the former champion Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Riddle, AJ Styles, and the 24-year-old upstart Austin Theory. This can go a lot of different ways, because if they're going to have title versus title, as they've been teasing, you're going to have to go with Brock Lesnar, obviously taking the title and walking out of the Elimination Chamber, his very first Elimination Chamber for that matter, and that will set up the WWE Championship versus the Universal Champion, the winner of the Royal Rumble versus the longest reigning Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns, night number 2, main event of WrestleMania in Dallas, Texas. It's probably going to be the scenario, unless they don't want to go that route, which I don't actually want to see title versus title. We still need to have title on either side, and that will have somebody from Raw defending it. I'd love to see Bobby Lashley going into WrestleMania to defend the championship, though we could end up seeing AJ Styles. There's rumor that AJ Styles is going to go against Edge. Imagine Edge gets a chance at the title, but I don't think that's going to happen either. We're now thinking that Kevin Owens is going to go against Steve Austin instead of potentially a rematch at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. So there's a lot of people out there. I've even heard rumors of Riddle winning the title at one point and defending against Randy Orton, and then finally breaking up. But people are loving Rated Arcade Bro, and so that doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. So you're likely going to have Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, champion versus champion, and so you got to go with Brock Lesnar walking out with the title. My dark horse is going to be having Lashley retain the title. Now, just like the women's Elimination Chamber, we have 3 bonus questions because we don't know who's coming in last. So send me who's coming in last. Send me the 2 names of who's going to be starting off the match, and you'll get bonus points for your picks and all that leading up to our main event. 2 years pretty much in the making. It was supposed to be at WrestleMania 36, I believe, and it was supposed to be Roman against Goldberg, and the title was supposed to be on the line, but COVID hit, and the immunity of Roman Reigns and his recurrence of leukemia popped up. Roman obviously was pulled. We got Braun Strowman taking out Goldberg and winning his only championship. Now, Goldberg is the challenger going against the reigning defending champion, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. He's held it for well over 525 days and will continue and take it all the way into WrestleMania. This is also potentially the last match on Bill Goldberg's contract, so I've heard this could be a squash match too, just to get things going. I've heard rumors that Lesnar will cost Reigns the title if they somehow end up finding a way of keeping Goldberg longer and have Goldberg defend the Universal Championship at WrestleMania and make Roman the challenger to the WWE title, and having Brock come out of the chamber. And so reversal roles, but still having that match against each other at WrestleMania. So WWE has a lot of options to go with. It's a huge thing going on. I still think Roman is going to come out on top, and whether we see Bill Goldberg again in the WWE ring, we'll have to wait and see. But then that could be on a pay-per-appearance condition, as opposed to a long-term deal, which he's been working on for the last while. So it all happens this afternoon, 12 noon in my time zone, the Eastern time zone in Canada, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and wherever else you are, figure out the timing, and we'll enjoy some wrestling early in the afternoon for some of us, or waking up for breakfast, like I said, wherever you are. It's coming from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It is the Elimination Chamber 2022. I'm going to quickly run down my picks again and get out of here and get ready for also Impact Wrestling's No Surrender. That video will come up later on this afternoon. So I have The Miz beating Rey Mysterio, setting up seeds of doubt leading towards father versus son at WrestleMania. Madcap Moss and, well, Happy Corbin, still not going to be enough for the Scottish Warrior, and Drew McIntyre takes this one. I'm expecting the Usos to retain, but I'm picking the Viking Raiders to pull off a shocker and bring those titles over to their waist on the SmackDown side of things when they return to the United States. Over on the women's tag team match, Ronda Rousey will have her arm tied behind her back, which will be a detriment to their teaming, and the heels, Charlotte Flair and Sonya DeVille, will become victorious in this match, adding more fuel to the fire of Ronda versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. The Women's Elimination Chamber match, number one contendership for the Raw Women's title. I think it's too easy to expect Bianca Belair to win. I'm going with Rhea Ripley, but it won't surprise me if they swerve us and throw in Alexa Bliss with a win, because why bring her back without some momentum or any reason? So those are the top three that I think are going to win. Bianca, too obvious. I'm picking Rhea. Not surprised if Alexa. But Big Time Bex is going to put down her childhood idol in Lita and retain the Raw Women's Championship going into WrestleMania against the Elimination Chamber winner. The other Elimination Chamber, too obvious. Got to go with Brock Lesnar to regain the title. I would love to see somebody like Riddle pull it out, or even shock us with Austin Theory. They need to create new stars, younger stars. Not that Riddle's that young, but Brock is walking out with the championship, leading to WrestleMania to take on Roman Reigns, who will retain his title against Bill Goldberg. So that's all happening, as I said, once again, at noon. Send us your picks. Go to scumbagswrestling.ca, where you can fill out our form. You see everything that's there on our screen, and you can answer all the questions, including the bonus questions. Who's going to be first and second in both Elimination Chambers? Who's going to be the last man out of their pod in the men's chamber? And how long will the women's chamber match go, in case we need to break a tie for points? We're available all over social media, whether it's on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get your podcast from, you can listen to us. We're going to be available on Facebook and on YouTube. And of course, you can email us, scumbagswrestling@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, and of course, Facebook is our easiest way to get in touch with me. As soon as it dings, I'm almost instantly answering whatever anybody has to say. So enjoy Elimination Chamber, a very early premium live event coming to you from WWE this afternoon. Until then, have a great one, and we'll look at Impact Wrestling's No Surrender later on this afternoon. Have a great one.